Hello everyone, welcome to the third video in this series, how different schools view jurisprudence, whether it is as a science or philosophy. In the last video we learned what is a science and what is a philosophy. Now we will look into the subject of jurisprudence. We will look into the nature of the subject of jurisprudence from the angles of different schools. First is natural law school. It thinks that primarily jurisprudence is a philosophy. Why? Because natural law theorists believe that the foundation of law lies in morality, reason, and universal human values. They argue that there are inherent rights and moral principles discoverable by human reason independent of human made laws. For example, the belief in the right to life or freedom is not derived from legislation but from natural law, and any human law violating it is unjust. So, though natural law thinkers like Aquinas systemized moral principles, the school remains firmly rooted in philosophy because its central concern is what the law ought to be. Now, legal positivism views jurisprudence as scientific. Why? Legal positivists view law as a man made construct where the validity is determined by social facts, authority, and procedures, not morality. Law is what the sovereign enacts, and its legitimacy lies in its source, not its ethical value. For example, a tax law passed by parliament is valid even if many believe it is unfair, as long as the due process was followed. So, legal positivism emphasizes classification, objectivity, and structure, making it closely aligned with the scientific dimension of jurisprudence. Thinkers like H.L.A. Hart adopted an analytical and linguistic approach to law, reinforcing its scientific nature. Another aspect is of sociological school. In the view of sociological school, jurisprudence is a blend of science and philosophy. Why? Because this school focuses on how law functions within a society and how it adapts to social needs and changes. It treats law as a living organism shaped by culture, economics, and human interaction. For example, public views on LGBT plus rights evolved, laws against homosexuality were challenged and reformed in many jurisdictions. So, it treats law as a social science, observing patterns and consequences, but also remains philosophical when considering what role law should play in shaping a just society. Thinkers like Roscoe Pond emphasized the engineering role of law in balancing social interests. We'll look into that in the next videos. Another aspect or another dimension through which the nature of jurisprudence can be looked upon is from the critical legal studies. Now, they look jurisprudence primarily, they think that it is much more philosophical and ideological. Why? Because critical legal studies reject the idea that law is neutral or purely scientific. It argues that law is inherently political and often serves elite or oppressive interest. Jurisprudence to CLS thinkers, that is the critical legal studies thinkers, must uncover hidden power structures within legal doctrines. For example, the historical use of property law to exclude marginalized communities is critiqued not just as unfair but as a structural injustice perpetuated by legal language. So, all in all, the critical legal studies think that jurisprudence is deeply philosophical, drawing from Marxism, postmodernism, and feminism. It deconstructs traditional legal theories rather than organizing them. For critical legal studies, jurisprudence is a tool for radical critique and social transformation, not just explanation. So, in conclusion, we can say it is both. That is, it is a science as well as a philosophy. Why? Because understanding jurisprudence as both science and philosophy is essential for anyone engaging with the law meaningfully. As a science, it helps us interpret, organize, and apply legal principles with clarity and consistency. As a philosophy, it empowers us to question, reform, and humanize law in line with the ethical values and social realities. So each school of thought contributes to its dual nature. Natural law seeks moral foundation. Positivism promotes clarity and objectivity. Sociological jurisprudence blends utility with justice. Critical legal studies demands transformation and awareness of embedded injustice. In this way, jurisprudence does not merely study law, it shapes how we live under it, challenge it, and evolve it. So, this is it for today. In the next lecture, we will look into the utility of jurisprudence.